Malachi Flynn. Malachi Flynn, 50 points. 50-point games don't matter anymore. I'm sorry, they don't. I think it's the craziest thing. This is why I love the NBA, man. It's literally every week it's something you never would have thought could possibly happen. Last week it was the beef between, the Timberwolves ownership groups and them going to a literal war. And now you... It's funny because I was on Twitter and someone posted a graphic of his night and it said 38 points. I was like, wow, Malachi Flynn had 38 points. Guess it was a spot starter. Really good for him. Awesome. And then I guess an hour later, I get a text from my roommate. Did you see Malachi Flynn had 50? I was like, he had 50? How? And it was a really impressive 50. 13 of 16 on twos, 5 of 9 on threes, 9 of 12 from the free throw line. And he came off the bench. Only the third guy ever to score 50 points off the bench with Nick Anderson and Jamal Crawford. It's a very culturally significant moment for NBA fans because it adds a new layer to, for the last decade, NBA fans, every once in a while would bring up the classic, remember those random guys to score 50, like Mo Williams, Corey Brewer, Terrence Ross, we would always talk about those guys. That would be the random guys to bring up, maybe it's in the summer, a lot of social media pages, NBA highlight pages would use it to drive the random surge of engagement, hey, remember when this guy scored 50? And it was always just such a random fun thing to look back on, dude, how did Corey Brewer score 50? And now we have a new version of that. We have the updated version. We have, the Gen Z model. We have the 2020 era version of those guys scoring 50, the random guys scoring 50, which I don't say to discredit Malachi Flynn. I've actually always liked Malachi Flynn. I've always thought he's had some nice promise, liked what he did in his brief stint in New York. This isn't to say he's a scrub, but just naturally, he has not, nobody saw this coming. At all. 38 points is one thing, but 50, there was no precursor to this at all. In fact, there was such little precursor to this performance that Malachi Flynn actually had the lowest career scoring average before his 50-point game in NBA history. So, for example, before his 50-point game, Corey Brewer, again, the previous standard for this kind of accomplishment, was career averages of 9.9 points per game. Terrence Ross was at 7.4. Malachi Flynn was at 5.2 career points per game before his 50-point game. I mean, just you want to talk about unexpected. Nobody saw that coming. Just, and I know people sort of they're gonna, put a disclaimer on this game saying oh, well, it's April basketball. This is what happens in April. Teams don't try as hard. The Pistons, for example, don't try as hard because you're already out of it, whatever. I don't know if that applies so much to this game. Yeah, the Pistons might not be playing for anything, but the Hawks certainly are. The Hawks are in the thick of the play-in tournament. They're in that 9-10 range. They're definitely trying to win games, and they did win this game, to be fair, which kind of puts a damper on this performance. Usually these 50-point games come and win, so it definitely is a bit upsetting because I think it would have been truly hilarious if Malachi Flynn scored 50 to beat the Hawks, but... and shout out to Jalen Johnson because a big reason why the Hawks won is because he had a triple-double and he looks like a future star in the making, but that's a different video for a different day. But it's just funny because this was an earned 50. This wasn't just two random teams playing rec league all-star game ball. Nah, the Hawks were really trying to win and to stop them. And it's funny because I think Hawks fans, when Luka scored 73 on them, I imagine it was a lot of well, it's Luka Doncic. What do you expect, man? He's one of the best players in the NBA. But you let Malachi Flynn scored 50, and that's when you really know your defense is bad. It's honestly impressive to give up 50 to that kind of guy off the bench when you are actively trying to win games as an NBA team. You want to give up 73 to Luka? Okay, that's one thing. It's Luka Doncic. I mean, 73 is still a lot, but it's Luka Doncic, pace and space era. But dude, what happened, man? Remember when DeJounte Murray made the all-defensive team with the Spurs? That happened. That was his reputation before he made an all-star team. He was known as a offense was questionable, but lockdown defender type of guy, and it sort of flipped, and it's just funny. And now he's been a big part of why Luka's dropped 73 on them, and now Malachi Flynn scores 50, and it's Does this mean he's going to get more playing time in Detroit? It's not like Detroit doesn't already have a crowded rotation of guards, Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, but just like, if nothing else, one of the funniest performances we've seen, and as I said before, like the modern era Gen Z 2020 version of the, hey, remember that random guy to score 50? And just what an unexpected source of joy and entertainment and laughter for us NBA fans.